Hello, welcome back to my channel, Crafter QQ. This is Q. Today I'm going to do a post about all my works in progress currently, a little checkup. There's a lot of them. They seem to have multiplied. So my main thing that I have been working on is the Arctic Light Sweater knit along with Kika. So I will put a little picture of the pattern. It's this gorgeous cable sweater, and I think I knitted something that was cable that was like a headband once many years ago, and then I've never knitted cable stuff since then. I showed this pattern to my mom and I was like, hey mom, I really want to knit this pattern, but I think I'm gonna wait until I'm better at knitting, blah blah blah. She looks at it and she goes, oh, that pattern's so easy. My mom has been knitting, I think she started knitting probably around high school-ish, and then was knitting kind of off and on. But she's always been a person who looks at a garment and then goes, okay, I can knit that, and then she knits it. She doesn't actually, I think, know how to read patterns. And so I'm teaching her that. And she just looks at I was, one time I was making this blanket. It was an interlac pattern. And I was looking at the pattern, doing the thing, and she's like, oh, okay. And then she just took it, and then she finished the blanket. Also because she thought I was knitting slow. But and then she bought all the yarn again and then made one for herself. So she's really good at just looking at stuff and making it. Whereas I'm probably better at following patterns. Just mainly because I think I could figure out looking at something, but then it seems like too much work. So anyways, this is my progress on my Arctic Light sweater. So the neckband is actually going to be a folded, folded on the inside, like a double. Looks like this. I love it. Turns out I can do cables. Her YouTube tutorials also helped a lot, because otherwise I would have been very confused. This ribbing actually took me a really long time to do. She does it where you knit one through the back and then purl instead of just knit one, purl one, so it's a little bit more defined. And for some reason that just broke my brain, and I would be doing the knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one through the back loop, purl one, and then 20 stitches in realize I've been knitting through the front loop. That's not what it's supposed to be. And then having to go back. So far on the cable pattern, I've only messed up one time. So that's pretty good for me. It's got the braid here, and then it's got these baubles. Oh, it's just so cute. And I think the lifesaver really is this stitch marker I bought ages ago on Amazon. It's also a row counter. Sometimes it doesn't really, some of them, I bought a pack of 4, and some of them are kind of slippery, so they turn on their own, which is super annoying. But for someone like me, if I have a row counter to the side, I will never remember to click the row counter. And I feel like I'm always second guessing myself when I'm actually trying to count the rows as I'm going along. And so the fact that I have to pass the stitch marker and then I'm like, oh, I gotta turn it, really helps. Sometimes I still forget, so it's not foolproof. But yeah, this is my progress. I am knitting this with 2 strands. Pull it out. It's 2 strands of this Cloudborn Fiber baby alpaca in the color Oatmeal Heather, held together, and then 1 strand of this Rowan Cashmere Haze. So this is baby alpaca, cashmere, and silk. So I initially planned to just hold this double, and I thought it had enough of a halo that it would be fine. But then this was on sale, so then I was like, oh, let's make it very luxe. So I'm holding the 2 together. I think the cashmere haze and the fact that I'm holding 2 together maybe is making it the stitches not as defined. And then I had one of those horrible 2 a.m., 3 a.m. thoughts that maybe I should just frog the whole thing and start over with just the baby alpaca or buy totally new yarn. And then luckily I slept on it, not doing that. So yeah. Thank goodness. That would have been so much work. Okay, and then also I had printed out the pattern, and I was like, you know, marking off my rows with a highlighter. And then it was getting really annoying because I was like, I need to go look at this, I need to look at this, I need to look at this. And I realized I can just do it on my iPad. So I switched over to my iPad. And I just deleted the pages I didn't need that weren't my size. And then you have like the pattern like this, right? And then I didn't realize there was this tiny little key. My printer was not good when I printed this. I need some new toner. I didn't realize that was that tiny key there. That would have been helpful. Because I was going back to this page with all the instructions. That key would have been very helpful, but because I was trying to like do this and have both at the same time, I just didn't notice the key at all. Also, not that observant sometimes. So that also was an issue. Yeah, so I've switched over to the iPad, and I was like, let's not be a aging person who won't use new technology. Okay, so that is my main WIP. And then I have my WIP from January that I've been working on slowly but surely. This is I call it my couch downstairs WIP, which is I basically work on it whenever we're watching TV, and that's the only time. And it lives like in our coffee table, like lifts up, so there's storage underneath, so it just lives in there. And it is the Anker Sweater. Anker Sweater? I don't know. I'm making for my husband in case, and then if he doesn't like it, I'm gonna keep it because it's the same size. So I worked really fast through all the ribbing part. That like didn't take me any time at all, I feel like, and I was like going along. And now that I've been on this stockinette part, it feels like I've been knitting forever and making no progress, but you know, looking at it, I have made progress. And then I also have one of those row counter stitch markers on here. I just kind of want to see how, because I may make a second one, so I want to see kind of how much I've knitted just in the round. And then, as I talked about in my previous video about the project bags that I've been using this one. It's doing a pretty good job at keeping my dog from, you know, biting my yarn and unraveling it. This is actually a dust cover for some shoes for my wedding shoes, actually. Yeah, so that's my downstairs WIP. This Arctic Light one, this is my upstairs computer WIP. So it's on my desk, and if I'm watching something on the computer, I will work on this. Mainly because of the whole like printed out thing. There's a lot to carry, and also like carry a cable needle with it. And so it's like more stuff to carry and less mindless. So it's like I feel like I've been having a hard time finding time to work on it. Okay, my next work in progress is my Sara top. It's like a cotton summer top by Sara Nordland. And made a fair amount of progress on it. Okay, hold on. Oh no, it got a little dropping stitches in the transfer. Okay, we're good. It's actually, I think, the only project I have that I'm knitting on these stainless steel needles. Mainly because the way I knit, I end up like poking myself with the needles. But yeah, I'm knitting it in this hand painted the cotton by We Are Knitters, and it's turning out beautiful. It's like a rib down here, and then there's this very interesting pattern. I'm actually yeah, this is the front side. And then it has like little straps, and it has buttons that you can wear either in the front or in the back. So I'm not sure if I have enough yarn. I have this plus like another cake that's not this big. So we'll see. Hopefully I have enough yarn. If not, I have some of the same yarn in natural, so I'll just make the straps different, like beige basically. And that is like my keep saying breast. That's like the one I work on when I'm pumping. I think it's because I was in school for so long, like med school and stuff, that I feel like I can't relax. Like I always feel like I should be doing something else or studying. And so a lot of times when other people just watch TV or watch a movie, I have to be doing something else too. I think it also helps the ADHD and paying attention. So this is like my pumping project. Otherwise, if I were just to pump, I would get very bored or just scroll on TikTok. So it's good to do something. And then because my Arctic Light sweater is so like, I need to focus when I do it, I also have like a secondary computer table project that I just started. It is the Lotus Beanie. I'm making one for my daughter. So it's super small. This is the 6 to 12 month size. So I've done it in this Lavender Highland Roving yarn that was on sale. It was like $4. And then the little flower star things are in Magenta. And so my plan is this will be hers, and then I'm gonna make one for myself where I reverse the colors. So we can be like twinsies, but not really twinsies. And this is going very fast. I think I've worked on this maybe an hour total so far, and it's like halfway there. And then I wanted to talk about my 2 hibernating projects. One of which, this isn't even it. Okay. One is my Rubania sweater. So if you've seen my previous video, I made it and then I had to frog it because I forgot to do the knit one through the back loop part. And then I made it and then I had to frog it because I did too much of the knit one through the back because I didn't read the pattern. And then I made it. I made all the way like the whole front yoke. And I had to frog it because I didn't realize where the repeat box was on the pattern, and so I was repeating a longer section than I should have been. And so then I got to here, and this is currently on hold because it uses the same needle size as the Arctic Light sweater, and I only have one set of that size needle in the wooden needles. And when I was knitting it on the carbon or the stainless steel needles, it was hurting my fingers. I think because I like to, so sometimes when I'm knitting, I'll push the needle tip with my finger. And so with the metal ones, it obviously hurts a lot more. And then I think because I've been using bamboo needles for so long, I'm used to like how the stitches stay on the needles. And so with the metal needles, because there's so much less friction, I tend to drop way more stitches, or like I'm just not paying attention, like stitches will just slide off. Like me moving this from one room to another, a bunch of them slid off. And so this is currently hibernating because of that. And then my other sweater that is hibernating, it's just a ball of yarn. I'm just gonna show a ball of yarn. I was making the Hachi sweater, and I don't know what happened to that actually, why I hibernated it. I think it also uses that same needle size as the other ones, and I think I ended up frogging it because I had to frog a bunch. Oh, I remember now. Okay, so I had like gotten pretty far, and then I realized that I had read one of the charts wrong. So instead of like knit, purl, purl, knit, purl, purl, like so knit, purl, and then purl, knit, I did just knit, purl all the way across instead of like having that double purl in the middle. And so then I was trying to frog back. And so I frogged back to the ribbing on the collar. And then once I got there, somehow I was knitting and it ended up twisted. I don't even know how, but I ended up knitting it twisted, even though the ribbing was not twisted. So I don't know how I got the rest of it twisted. And then I tried to frog back to the ribbing again. And then I think I wanted to use the needles for the Arctic Light. And I just got frustrated, so I frogged the whole thing. So that's just hibernating until I think I make more progress on my current project. So my plan is hopefully I can finish the beanie pretty fast and I can start on my beanie so that we can matching ones while it's still sort of cold. Although I do live in California, so it's already like our highs are 60 degrees Fahrenheit, like 18 Celsius. So, and I'm not a big beanie wearer anyways, but I feel like she needs a beanie because she doesn't have that much hair. So I think that'll probably get finished first, and then second to be finished will probably be just this. And then third will be the Anker sweater, and then fourth will probably be this Arctic Light sweater. I love it so much. It's so beautiful. I'm so proud of myself that it's working. And so those are my current WIPs, and currently still continuously shopping for yarn. I feel like that's what I do every night. I just look at deals for yarn. And then recently I was looking at yarn at Lovecrafts, and I like added some to my cart and then not bought it because I was like, oh, it's not even like 50% off. It's only like 20% off. I want to buy stuff that's 50% off because I almost never buy yarn full priced. And then yesterday they sent me a coupon for an additional 10% off clearance. So I'm obviously gonna buy some yarn, maybe some yarn that isn't even 50% off. I'm still looking for yarn for the wool and honey sweater because I really want to make that, but I don't have a yarn for it. And I was thinking, I saw this really pretty yarn that's like dark blue or black, and then it has these pretty like bright speckles, and I was like, oh, that would kind of look like space-y, so that it would be different, because I think most of the ones I've seen of that pattern have been very rustic and like orange, or like a lot of people do that hayloft, like this ginger color, ginger like the root, not like the like a redhead. And I wanted to make it in hayloft, but that yarn is sold out everywhere, so not possible. So I think I might do this darker color, and then based on whatever else is on sale, I have lots of projects that I want to make. I've also recently been watching Tag Back TV, who I was obsessed with during the pandemic when I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing. So prior to the pandemic, I was traveling a lot and playing a lot of like fitness games like Ring Fit and Just Dance. And then Animal Crossing came out, and of course the pandemic happened, and I logged almost 800 hours in Animal Crossing. Like by the end of the summer, I played it all the time, and you can see on all my like trackers and stuff, like my weight tracker, that's when I started to gain weight. I think I put on like 15 pounds because I stopped working out, and instead I just played Animal Crossing. But anyways, during that time, I really got into this YouTuber named Tag Back TV, and he was playing Animal Crossing. And I watched a couple people, but I feel like his voice is really soothing and like calming, but not in like a makes you sleepy way, just in like a nice guy. I don't want to say nice guy because like I feel like that has bad connotations now, but like just a truly like nice person kind of way. So I was watching a lot of that, and then recently, and then I kind of stopped watching it when I stopped playing Animal Crossing. And so I should have had a crafting channel. I was just thinking I should have had a crafting channel back then. Then you could see all of my island, which is crazy. I was terraforming a bunch. I opened up like all the different, like logged in as different characters as houses, and each house was like, one house was like different themed restaurants in each room, and then I had a house that was like a store. I just displayed clothes. And then I left one as a tent, and I put it near a dig site. I built like a multi-tiered stadium, and then I had like a raised boardwalk and like an outdoor dim sum area. I spent so much time crafting virtually. But I quit before like I think the coffee update with Brewster and like the farming and that stuff came out. I was also playing it a lot because my niece was playing it, and so she was like 5 at the time. She's 7 now, and so we talk about it, and sometimes she's like, do you still play that game? And I was like, no. But that game did make her want to learn how to read. That and Paper Mario. Anyways, so back to Tag. So I watched like a ton of him, and I would have him on in the background because I just felt like it was like a soothing voice. And sometimes I would have him on background while I played, and or just watch him and then knit. And so he recently started playing a game called Hogwarts Legacy, which I was actually really excited for that game to come out because I'm a huge Hogwarts nerd. I feel like I know so much Hogwarts lore. Been to the parks, went to London to go on the studio tour, went to King's Cross. I went to LeakyCon one year with my friend. I watched Super Carlin Brothers. They also have a lot of Hogwarts quizzes and theories and stuff. I'm also a huge fan of the Harry Potter musical by Star Kid Productions, which if you have not seen is amazing. Favorite character is probably Umbridge, but it's just all great. Also, Voldemort's tap dance in that is amazing. So I quote that all the time. Ironically, I married somebody who has only seen the movies, has not read the books, and is not a huge Harry Potter fan. Like, he understands sometimes that I make references, but then sometimes, you know, like how Peeves wasn't even in the movies, and I think sometimes he's like, why do you like Ginny? I'm like, because Ginny in the movies was dumb, and Ginny in the books was like super hot, dating all these guys, really smart, great at hexes, you know, stuff like that. I'm just like, you wouldn't understand. Although he has been buying me all of the illustrated Harry Potter books, so I think he secretly supports. One day I'll get him to maybe read the books. Maybe I can get him to read them to our daughter. Harry Potter also is what got my little brother to read, like, I think 2nd grade. I started reading them to him, and then he got really into it. And so, like, one time we went on a vacation to China, and he was reading the 4th book, and people were just passing and being like, oh my gosh, this tiny kid is reading this like thick book in English. Like, it's so amazing. And so, yeah, huge fan of Harry Potter. Not a huge fan of the author, who shall not be named, in her views. But yeah, so plans. Oh, I also found these really cool patterns on Ravelry for Star Wars. My husband likes Star Wars, but I don't know if he's like a huge fan. But the sweaters are so cool that I would wear one, even though I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I don't think I saw Star Wars until maybe like 2016, and I only watched them because I was dating somebody who, no, it was, yeah, like 2016. I was dating somebody who really wanted to see the first new movie, the first, like, The Force Awakens. And prior to that, I had only seen Phantom Menace multiple times because it came out in 8th grade, and we watched it for finals for like every class, because I think it was the same year as like 9/11, so they didn't give us finals. But then we watched the same like 60 minutes in every class, so I only had seen the first part of Phantom Menace. And so when I was dating that guy, I watched all of the old ones. I would try to watch the second new one, Attack of the Clone. I don't know if that sounds right. Anyways, but when he started talking about the sand and how it's like dirty and gets everywhere, I was like, I can't watch this. But I did watch all the new ones. And so I know Star Wars a little, just not like a huge super fan. I did go to both of the parks at Disney, in Florida and in California. So I went with the California one. I went with one of my friends whose husband is huge Star Wars fan. Like, he went and built a lightsaber and all that stuff. And then the other one I went with my husband. And the Rise of the Resistance ride is amazing. My husband did make fun of me because there's a part where you get out and there's a ton of stormtroopers just standing there. And I thought that they were all actors. I didn't realize they were just like animatronics kind of. And then when you get off the ship to go on, like, when you get off the like ship thing in the beginning to go to like the other ship for the ride, they like yell at you to like move it, like whatever. And so like we're going down, we have to turn into this hallway, and I like peeked into the hallway before like walking into I didn't just like walk, I like peeked around the corner first, because in all the movies when you turn into a hallway, that's when you get shot by like stormtroopers with lasers. So I was like, ugh. And then he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just checking to make sure there's no, like, nobody's gonna attack us walking in. He's like, this is a ride. I was like, I know, but there's an actor there yelling, and so who knows? What if I get kidnapped or something? Or they have lasers, those laser guns. So he thought it was really funny that I was taking it very seriously. You know, in retrospect, that would have been very funny. We were also super lucky because right before our group was called, the ride had broke down, and so then when they called our group, our virtual queue group, it had been under construction for like, I don't know, 2 hours. And so we were able to go on the Millennium Falcon ride while we were waiting. And then once it opened, we went and we didn't have to wait in any lines. Like our little ride vehicle was not even full. And then when we went on the ride, there were a bunch of like empty ride vehicles because it had just opened. So we didn't have to wait, which was amazing. And I feel like stuff like that happens to us all the time. Like when we went to Universal Studios, we went to go on the Harry Potter ride, the one through Hogwarts, and I had gone in Orlando with my friend many years ago, and then I was going with my husband to the one in California, and I couldn't find the entrance for some reason. So then I went up to a cast member and I said, hey, where's the entrance to this ride? And they were like, oh, let me take you. And so they took us through a bunch of like staff pathways. And so we didn't wait in line at all. And we were going to that ride because it saw that the wait time was like 2 hours. And I was like, I don't think it's going to get any less. We should just get in line. So we didn't wait in line at all. We went through, it wasn't even like they took us to the fast track line or anything. They just took us straight to the start. And then we rode the ride. And then when we were getting off, some staff member was like, do you want to ride it again? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then they took us around a corner and then we went back on the ride immediately. Turns out if you ride it 2 times in a row, it's, I usually don't get nauseous on rides. I was like, I think I'm nauseous. It's too much. But yeah, I was like, why are we always so lucky? So anyways, got lucky on that, got lucky on the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance ride. But I have to say my favorite ride is Velocicoaster in Orlando, because it first of all, you have to go through a metal detector to get on the ride. They make you empty everything out. And then instead of having the normal roller coaster things that go on your shoulders, it's literally just on your lap. And not even on your lap, just like on your hips. And so you feel like you're gonna fall. And the design is just really cool with like the barrel rolls and stuff. So that's probably my favorite ride. Anyways, that's a really long tangent for my works in progress. There's a lot of them, but hopefully slowly but surely things will become finished objects, and then I will feel less bad about buying more yarn for more projects. And I think I decided that I'm not going to play Hogwarts Legacy because I don't think I have time to craft and play such an immersive video game. I'll probably get sucked in like I did for Animal Crossing. And so I'm just going to knit while I watch Tag play. So hopefully, Tag, if you're watching this, please play the walkthrough all the way through the entire game so I can vicariously watch you play it. That would be great. Thanks. All right. So if you enjoyed this, give me a like, you know, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, I think I may try to post something every Wednesday just to keep track of my works in progress, as well as like scattered about other videos about other stuff, maybe finished objects once in a while. Oh, I do have a project. I recently bought a new stethoscope, and so I'm going to design a little name tag for that. I haven't decided. Probably a vinyl one on my Cricut or something. I might make a video about that. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!